All right, welcome to another episode of this amazing asset browser that we're making, which we're starting with doing this HDRI browser first. But as I mentioned, I plan it to be an asset browser with different supporting all the polyhaven stuff first, and then we can do whatever we want from there. All right, so today we're gonna do mostly backend stuff. We're not gonna do anything visual here, but we're gonna get stuff downloading, which is really nice. I'm really happy with this. Took me a while to get it working the way I want it to work, which right now it works fine. Downloads on the back end, and it's doing okay. There's no check yet for if the file exists, just downloads, but we have progress and everything, which is cool. So this is what I have right now. So this is just printing here what it's going to be downloading. Let me show you. Have a file browser here. Let me keep this on top. So you can see it's downloading the files here. Have some files downloaded here. I can delete this. Right now it's just downloading one, quality of the files. There's different resolutions of them. Right now just downloading the 1K because it's fast, but we're gonna add buttons or options to download that as the website. But for now, we can have this, which is the other part is simple. So if we click on any of these guys, you can remember that in last video or the last episode, it only printed the name here of this. But now, if we click any of these, let's say Photo Studio 1, you can see gets the URL. A few things happen, but you can see this is what we had before. We just do that, but now you can see we even have the image here. And if I open this here locally, you can see there it is. That's the image that I downloaded, which is this one, which downloaded the right image. Cool. I didn't even check if it was downloading the right image, but it is, which is great. If I click another one, this one, you see gets it right here. Can open it. It's opening in my other monitor and it's there. You see that's one. It's there. So it's working. It's downloading the images. We're still not applying it to the objects in Houdini and stuff, which is what I wanted to do today. But I wanted to get the downloading working now. And you can see also here this progress bar. I just added this progress bar for now, but each one of these want to have a progress bar, and we're gonna have a check bar, a little thick or something if it's already downloaded or something like that. But for now, you can see it goes and downloads this. So that's what we're gonna do today. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot of preparation on the back end. So let's do that today. You hear my pup? I don't know what's happening to him. All right, so let's go to the code. Let me switch this to the previous state, as I always do. I just develop on another file. So I'm going back to the version that you are at the moment. All right, so that should be fine. And there we go. We are back here, and you can see at this stage it only prints the name. It doesn't do anything right now. So that's what we're going to do at the moment. So let's go to our asset browser here. So, all right. So most of it is happening in the click of the image. But we're going to do a few things. So you can see that when I was doing that wasn't hanging Houdini. So Houdini is responsive while the image is downloading. So I can even test that actually. Dev 03 was, I think. I can show you that the image is Houdini is not locked. So it's loading. I want to show this because it's loading in a second thread. I'm gonna just do a change here. Let me change the resolution to let's say 4K. 4K is gonna be a little bit slower to download, but we're gonna have some time to at least see what's gonna happen here. Let's just reload this, and if I click this guy, you can see it's downloaded and Houdini is responsive during that, right? So you can see, let's show the viewport, and the viewport should be, let's create something on the viewport. So if I download anything here, it's downloading in Houdini, it's fine. Houdini's not hanging up, right? So it's launching another thread, and this is, if you're a normal user, this is what you expect. But this is not how Python works by default. If you just trigger a download and something is processing, the interface, and in this case, the whole Houdini would get locked, and you can't do anything while that image is being downloaded, or whatever process is being processed. So it's really important to do stuff like this, is having something that is not blocking the interface while you're doing something like this. So that's what we're gonna be learning to do today, which is quite important, I must say. So let's go and back to the previous state. This is really important if you're dealing with heavy images, loading a lot of images, all those sorts of stuff. So it's basically the same thing that we did for loading the thumbnails, which we managed to get it to be working while we are just downloading the images. One thing is, I went to the asset browser here. You can see I added this progress bar here. So if I just delete that, I just search here in the widget box to progress bar. This is of course, the interface that we created before. Let's see if I can drop it there. There is a really, when you see the blue line there, you can drop it there, and it's going to drop it at the bottom there. And then I just named this HDR progress, but this could be better name as asset progress, really. Or download progress. Down progress. That'll be, because this is going to be used for downloads. But right now it's just going to be really just not the final thing. It's going to be wait, is this? No, it's fine. This is not going to be the final thing, so we're just doing this for visualizing it now, but it's not going to have any effect on this. We're just downloading one image at the moment, but this is going to be redesigned with widgets individually for each one of these objects here. So just added that for now to see the progress and see that it's working and it's updating a widget here in the interface. But as I said, we're going to be doing that the proper way later. All right, so let's get started with the code. So there's a bunch of code that we want to do. And one thing first is that I have this worker class, and this is the class that is taking care of spawning a thread and sending us back the progress of this. I'm not going to explain this worker class, or just going to give you an overview of what's happening here, but we're not going to just type this by hand. If you want to type it by hand, pause the video right now. The whole class is on screen at the moment, or you could just get the code on Patreon, right? So we are using a queue runnable object. I tried with QThread, and for some reason it was giving me crashes with Houdini. So I couldn't make it work, but seems like it's messing with the main Houdini thread. So with queue runnable, it just works great. So here is just a class which just contains the signals. These signals could be here, but it's just separated into our nose class, which is just reference here. This signals just means in PySide, it just means when the it's gonna emit, this class is gonna emit some signals, so it's gonna send responses. But in PySide they're called signals. When something happens, does the finish signal when it finishes, if there's an error, it's gonna emit the error. When there's the result, which basically gets the in our case the image from the website completely, it emits the result, and then the progress is when it's downloading the image. This class is generic for every single type of thing you wanna do. This is a worker thread, or it's a thread on that you run on your computer. It's a separate thread from the main application, so you can run any function into this thread and it's gonna run it. So the main worker class, it's a queue runnable, as I mentioned. This just grabs some attributes here. These are just attributes that you can send, or keyed attributes, like a dictionary of attributes that you can send. And you can see we just call that progress callback, which is what we call it. We just send it to the progress. I mean, we set that in the queue args. We put that progress callback, which is going to be reporting us the progress of the download. And in the run, it's just basically running whatever function you send to this. And then if an error happens, it shows an error. Else, just if there's no error, just send us the result. And if this is fine, then we just finish. So this is basically a generic template class that is going to be running any function you send it into a thread. So that's basically what's happening. Okay, so we're not going to be modifying here. There's nothing really. You can use this for in any project, really. Any function you want to run on a thread, you can use this function, and it works. So, all right, I'm gonna close that. We don't need to see that anymore, and we're gonna now create what we want. Going to need here. So we're gonna import that class first here. So because we need to use it. So we're gonna say from worker import the worker. So we're gonna import the worker because the worker includes the worker signals. We're not gonna. This is being used here actually, so just need the worker class here. So we have that now, and we are going to work on the. Give me a second on where we click here when we click the image, right? But I'm gonna make a few things global or part of the class because we're gonna be accessing those in different areas. So and we need something else here. We also need a thread pool for managing the threads. So self let's get self dot thread pool. Hold on a second. Let's see. No, wait. We don't need a thread pool. The thread pool was for the other. Yeah, it was doing the method with the with a thread, but wait, no, yeah, sorry, yeah, we do need the thread to start the thread worker. Sorry, yeah, man, I did so much stuff today trying to get this thing to work, but so yeah, we need a thread pool here. And this is on qt core dot q thread pool here, this one. And if you think if you think I know all these classes, where these classes are, sometimes you just get a reference to this. If you think I know exactly where this thread pool is part of, like in this case qt core or Qt widgets or network GUI. I don't know all of those. I knew a few, but what I do, I just say, okay, I'm gonna search this in the internet. Then I go to the docs of Qt, the official docs. I click on this, and this is the actual docs, and I just see here where this is coming from, and this is from core. So I just make it know that this is from Qt core, and actually it's here in the hierarchy here. You can see this is from Qt core, right? So that's how I know where this is coming from, and I know where to get that package from. So don't think that I know everything. I just use, I know how to use the amazing thing called Google. So let's create a few variables here. You know what? I'm just gonna copy this because there's no reason for you to see me type in this. Let's paste this. Paste is just you're going to have a URL. We're going to have file size for the progress. We're going to have a local file, which is the file that we're going to save to disk, and then we're going to have some data, which we already have here. But we are going to expose this to the whole class. So because we have it here, the data here actually, but it's just local to this initialization part here, and I want to actually use it down here. So and we might use it somewhere else. So we'll just put it at making it a part of the member of the class, so we can reference it anywhere in the class. So we have that, which is nice. All right, so we are going to now go to the click here, and we are actually going to use this name. So that is cool. All right, so let's go. I'm going to put a resolution here for what resolution am I going to download? For now, let's just use 1K. There is, if we go to the website, let me see where I have Polyhaven here. Polyhaven. If we go to the website here, to one of the HDRI images, see we have several resolutions here: 1K, 2K, 4K, 8K, even 24K for this, which is wow. There's a lot of information, and this information is available in a JSON file. You can see this is, if I go to 1K, you can see they have HDR or EXR, and we also have the size of the image here. See, if I change this to 4K, it tells us the image size. And that is great because we don't have to calculate that ourselves. That is all contained on oh man, forgot the name of that, on a JSON file, which is this file. This file, you can see this file, it's per each one of those HDR images. See, we have all the resolutions here: 4K, 16, 1, 2, 8. There's also some tone map settings here, which at the moment, I don't know what those are meant to be. Maybe one of these things. I don't know. But you can see each one of these sections. For example, the 1K contains this section, which is the HDR image or the XR image. And then it contains an MD5, the URL, which is what we're going to use, and the size, which is great. You can see we have the size here in bytes, so we can, I think it's in bytes. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is going to help us set what we need on the code to get this to download correctly, and for the progress. Hello. Okay, so that is good there. Okay, so we're gonna use the 1K resolution for now. That is what we need, and we're hard code that for now, but it's fine. And the extension for now is gonna be HDR. Again, this is gonna be options later. For now, we are going to just hard code it to that. Okay, so where do we get that? We need to get that HDR JSON file for each one of those images that we're gonna be clicking So we're going to call that in an HDR JSON file, and we're going to use the request library, and we're going to get a file. Let me just copy this path here so I don't have to type it. So this is the URL we're going to get it from. There is a file section, and then if you put the name, which is actually the name of the object, you can get this. So if we can try this on the actual website here. Let me see. Here, if we click that, and let's say this guy here that we have, I'm going to get the name, paste it here, and click. You can see, there we go. We get this HDR, this JSON of the current image, or the current image, which is basically what's populating this menu here. You can see, there's a tone map one here. There's a color chart as well. Nice. Cool. So there's a bunch of things that we can get from there. So that's how we get that. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just getting, by putting the name, which we already are getting from the object, we're just gonna get each one of those that we click, right? So if I say print HDR JSON now, and we go here to Houdini, let me just clear this and click one of these, you can see we got a response of not really working. Okay, let's see what's going on here. What if I doing, there, I know I need to put JSON at the end here to get the actual JSON file there. Recent response, and there we go. As you can see, now we got all the information there. If we go down here, let me switch the images we're getting here, which is here. Let me get the studio. Is it studio? Yeah, studio. So these are a little bit smaller. You can see here's the whole response there. So there we go. So that is working, and we're getting the HDR, which is great. But we don't want to get the whole thing here. We're holding the whole JSON information there, but we don't want to print that. We want to have, we're going to get the URL from that. So we're going to populate the URL here that we created above. We're going to get it from the HDR JSON file there, right? This is going to be, we're going to get it to the HDR. Again, if you have worked with JSON files, you know what I'm doing here. So I'm just going, getting it, basically navigating in the JSON file by the key of every section. If we go back to here, so I'm getting this file, and then I'm going to this, and then I'm going to go to, from here, you can see this section contains all of that. So I'm going to go from that section to the 1K, and then from HDR, and then I'm going to get the URL. So basically just navigating in this file in this manner here. So I'm going to get the HDR, and then we're going to get, I could say 1K here, but we are going to use the resolution that we have here, because this is going to be an option later. So we're going to get the resolution, and then the extension as well here, that again is going to be an option later. And then from that we get the URL, right? So now we are at at this thing, and this is going to return this path. And if we want to be totally sure about that, we can print this. Print self.url. We do that and refresh, click it. You can see, there we go. We have the URL from the, so we're getting the URL of this object that we're clicking from the JSON file that is telling us exactly where that is. And if you can see, we're getting the 1K version here. Can make this bigger, but it's gonna be too big. But yeah, we're getting the 1K version there. Let's make this. if I change in my code here to get the 4K version there, let's see if I refresh this. This is gonna be now. You can see it's getting the 4K version there. So you can see the path is different here from here to here, and we're getting it just by changing that. If we wanna say let's get the 16K version, and see now it's getting that as well. And this actually has like I think it's a space. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but we're getting the path correctly. So let's change this back to 1K for now, so which is great. If we wanted to get the EXR image, we can also change this, but we don't need to. So great, this is working. So let's not print that anymore. I'm gonna duplicate this this line, because we're also gonna get the file size, which is also right there. We need the size of this, so let's just get that right now. So this is gonna be the file size. The file size is not global. This is gonna be right here. I mean, it's not the whole. It's not up in this. Oh, it is actually. Okay, let's use that as well. Sorry. So we are also setting that there. Cool. All right. And then here, instead of just URL, we're just gonna use the size, which is the same thing as here. That key of this dictionary is it's here in the same level of the URL. So we just need to do that, and now we're getting the URL and the size, which is great. But we're gonna need that to do the when we do the progress of the image, how much is being downloaded. Okay, so let's see. Now we're gonna do the where are we gonna store the local file. So let's say that's self local file. It's gonna be equal to this is gonna be equal to I created a downloads folder here on the where the script is, and this is where I'm putting the files right now. This could not be the final project location, or we could have an option here where you are downloaded the files to a specific, which could be a setting later. For now, I'm doing that, so I'm just gonna use that for the time being. You can use any folder location you want. For me, I'm just gonna get the work path plus this download folders, and I'm gonna get from the URL. I'm just gonna get the base name, which is just gonna print here. It's gonna get me this last part, including the extension. So that is what this is doing. So I'm just constructing that path to know where I'm going to store that file. Okay. So now I'm going to open that file, that local file, open. So I'm going to open this file for writing. Local file name. Well, this is not the file. This is the file name. And this local file is gonna be the actual file. Local file. This is what did it do? Sorry, oh man, changed the wrong thing there. Local file name. Sorry. Local file name is what I need to hear. I need to open this file, basically create it on disk to open it as writable. So this is basically it's saying where are you gonna save this file on your computer, right? So this is where we're gonna put it, and we're gonna say this is the file. We're gonna basically open it and then write to this. So we have this file open, and then we're gonna write that image that we're gonna download from the internet. So here is we're gonna run the worker. worker that downloads image. Okay, so this is the downloader, but this downloader needs a few helper functions. As you saw before, we have some things that happen, or the signals that are emitted when this is doing stuff. Specifically, I guess the most important one is the progress one, which is what we need to do. So let's start creating those classes first before we create the worker here. So below this class at this level, we're gonna create another. I mean, below in this same class, we're gonna create the progress function. Progress function. We're gonna later connect these classes to the worker. The end is gonna be the progress return from the function, which is gonna be an integer. It's gonna be self. Let's just print it for now. Print the progress, and let's just do n, comma n, and this print is not right. So we're gonna need that, and then we're gonna have a function that actually downloads the image. But let's do first. Let's do first. Let's just do the whole thing. So let's just do another print output, which is gonna be just to print in the output of when this is done. It's gonna tell us that the thread is done executing. Or the result from the thread that we expected it's returned, basically. So this are gonna be just functions that you can use if you want to later. We're not gonna be using them. They're gonna be just informative for now. So this is gonna be when the thread is complete, when the thread is just done, which is gonna be very similar to when we get the result, because we get the result and then the thread is done right after that because it's closed. And let's just say thread done. So again, these two things are gonna do nothing at this point, really. Okay, so we're gonna create there's the signals that are gonna happen during and at the end of the function, and then of the thread, and then there's gonna be the function that we're gonna actually run with the thread. So let's start creating the thread now. So we're gonna create a worker. I'm gonna call it worker, and this is gonna be a of class worker that we imported, and this takes a function here. You can see it, the fn is the function. So we're gonna send this. It's gonna be called download image. It could be download HDR or something like that. So that is what's gonna do. Let me just copy this code so I don't have to be typing every single thing here, and it just makes it simpler. This didn't copy for some reason. Great. Copy and paste. So we create the worker and then we connect those signals, right? So we create the worker with the function that we're gonna run, which is gonna be this one. We haven't created that. And it's gonna say when the result is done, when you're done doing this, the result of this function, just use this, call this function that is gonna print the result is done. And then when you are finished, completely finished, run this function, the thread is done. And when you are in progress, do this progress, which is gonna print here the progress. Okay. So let's just create like a dummy function for now here. Def download image, which is the function that we put the download image that we are using here. And then this has a progress callback, which if you remember, comes from the worker here. Here, this progress callback is the signal of progress, right? So that is where we connect. There is going to be available here in this function. Right. So here, let's just do something dumb from the moment. So you can see this running. Just do this. So I don't have time. Let's just import time for now. Import time. I've just where is it? Import time here, just so we can just see a dummy function doing something. So this is just a range from 0 to 10, and it is waiting a second, and then it's calling the progress and emitting the progress event, and it's just printing that, which this with these values here, which this integer basically. So that's gonna basically say when this happens, this thing is gonna trigger and print whatever is sent from here, which is in this case, the progress of this is gonna be from 1 to 200, I think, because it's just multiplied by 10 divided by 4 by 100. So let's just try that and see what happens here. I don't think, oh yeah, this is running because it's going to be on the click. Is it? Yeah. So, but this is already going to run on a thread. So if we click one of this, okay, that didn't happen because, oh yes, because we didn't start the thread. So we did all this, but we didn't start the thread. So we need to actually go here and say execute. And the thread needs to be executed here with self thread pool, and then start the worker. So we basically pass into the thread pool. We said start this worker, make it work, do some actual work. Remember, we created this thread pool over here, which is a queue thread pool, which is just holding the threads and managing how the threads work in the computer. So now if we click that, we should have, there we go. You can see we're having some progress there, right? So it's a dummy progress. It's just every second is just printing progress, but this is what's going to happen when we get the image. So instead of this dummy thing, let's just start getting our actual image. So we're going to create a response, which is going to say request.get self dot. Again, this is why we make that URL entry part of the whole class, so we can access it here. And this is gonna, important part here is that we stream this. So let's put this stream to true. So it means it's gonna get, as we are getting the response, we're writing it to disk at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna get an offset here. Offset equals to 0. So this offset is going to be just where we are writing on the file at that moment. Don't worry if this doesn't make sense. This is basically saying how big the chunks of the file that we're getting are, and then how much we're writing that to disk, and then we are going to move that offset to the next piece of the file that we next start of the chunk that we're writing to the file, basically. So we're gonna say for chunk, and the chunks are gonna be of this size 512, which is by default the chunk size on the response iteration, but you can set this to a bigger number if you need to later. So from the response, we're gonna iter on the content, and then as I mentioned, the chunk size here, which is by default, I think 512, but we're gonna pass that buffer anyway. So just so we have it as an option for maybe later if we want to download bigger stuff there. So now we are iterating on the chunks, and here in the chunks, let's say if not chunk, just break. Basically, this could mean if we if we don't have anything else, just finish, done. Or if we didn't get anything from the response, also just break. Self local file name, which again we have it here. We open this file, we get it ready for writing. Now we're gonna set we're gonna place basically the input cursor, let's say on this bit. We're gonna put it at the start of the file, so we're gonna start writing from the beginning, because we can start writing from anywhere really, which is what we are actually gonna do. And then we're gonna say write the chunk that we just got. So write that chunk. So we're getting a chunk from the file here. We're getting a chunk which is gonna be a little piece of file. We're gonna write this 512 bytes to the file, and then we're gonna move the offset. So the next chunk is gonna be written next to that one, right? I hope that makes sense. Offset. We're basically dividing the if the file is of let's say 1024 bytes. It's just gonna get divided into 2 chunks, and it's gonna be right in the first chunk. Let me just get my drawing thingy. So if you think about the, why am I not able to draw? Weird. I don't know. If you think about the file being into the specific chunks, it's gonna write the first chunk to the file, and then the offset, we're gonna move the offset to the end of that chunk so we can write the next chunk there. So we actually basically assembling the file in little pieces. So the offset now is at the offset, which is 0 at the beginning, plus the length of the chunk, which is gonna be 512, which is gonna be now the new position to write the next one. And then here we create a progress variable, which is gonna be offset divided by the file size, which is gonna be giving us a value between 0 and 1, and then we just multiply that to 100, so we get it to be from 0 to 100. And that is gonna be basically it. That is the whole thing up there, which is gonna be now when we're done with this writing of chunks, we're gonna close the file. So the file is now written completely and done, and that's it. And then we're gonna say here return done. So this is done. That's the whole thing we need to do to download the file. And yeah, that is basically the meat of the downloading and reporting the progress and all that stuff. So if we go to let me see, I want to set so the progress right now, it's gonna just print this file. Let's just go with the printing, and we can set the progress bar in a little bit. So now if we refresh this and click on one of this, okay, great, we have an error. So let's see, where's the error? Line 181. Let's go and see 181 here. So there's right. So we have this, but we didn't emit the progress callback. Actually, we need to emit it here. Emit the progress. And let's see if we have this is correctly. Progress file size down to 100. This is fine. So I think we're just missing the progress callback. So every time we have a chunk, we emit the callback. So we are actually reporting the progress of download, of how much it is being downloaded. So now if we do that, let's say we have another error here, which is saying that a bytes like object, a number, or non-type in 181 again. Let's see what we have. So here, this is saying that maybe file size is not set. Offset is fine. What am I doing wrong here? Let me see where we are actually setting file size. Here, we're getting the file size here. Oh, wait, I made a mistake here. This is self file size. There we go. So I wasn't setting that. That was 0, and it's gonna be dividing by 0, which is not a good idea. Pretty bad error dividing by 0 actually in computers. So there we go. So this should, there we go. Now we had a progress here. So let's see. This is our. It's not downloading yet, is it? No. Yeah, we are already downloading the file. Yeah. We are, we're right into the file already and everything. So we should have the file being downloaded here. Let me just delete those files that I have here for now. Let's keep this on top. And let's see, clicking on this guy, Studio London. There we go. It is downloaded. Great. Let's click another one, Studio Small 9. There we go. Yeah, it's working. Awesome. Man, this is cool. So let's now make this progress bar work. Now that we have this progress, let's go and make it work for that. Instead of printing this, we're just gonna get the progress bar, which we haven't gotten from the file here. So let's get it here first. Self dot progress bar is gonna be equal to self dot UI that what do we call that? HDR progress. Wait. HDR progress. Yeah. HDR progress. So that is now there, and here in the progress function, let's just set that one to. Why is this like that? Self dot progress bar set value. We just need to set a value to this. It's really simple, which we already have the value, which is this guy that's going to be coming from the response from the progress, and that's going to be it really. Right now it's at 24 by default. We could just set that to 0 first at the start, or just set it here to 0 in the properties. You can see here by default the value is 24. We can set it to 0, so there's nothing there to start off, and we refresh. This is 0 now. If we click here, now there we go. You can see it. You can see the progress bar was working there. Awesome, man. This is so nice. Let's just do something else here before we wrap it up. We can go to the resolution and get something bigger. Let's get let's say the 8K version, which is gonna take a lot more time to download. And then we just refresh that, click one of this, and you can see there we go. It is downloaded, and you can see Houdini is still responsive. We have full responsive stuff. This is downloading. You can see when it's done, tell us that it's done. The thread is closed. Of course, this messages we don't need to have when we have the production, but when this is done, we can save it to just to maybe we could save it to database, or do something else, or notify the user, or we can just add a little symbol here, an icon that tells the interface that one is downloaded now, and send maybe a property on it and stuff like that, right? So we're more functionality we're gonna do after we do that. But now you can see we have images downloaded, and you can see we have the 8K one there, and you can open it. It's gonna be big. There we go. You can see this is an 8K image there. It says there. So yeah, that is the actual big image, download it from the site, get it positioned exactly where you want. And now you can actually download any image really from this website. You can see I clicked 2 images and this is happening. 2 images are downloading at the actual same time. And you can see they are downloading here and they are running on my machine at the same time, actually downloading. Let's see if we can see them here maybe. I'm not sure if we can see those. Not really. I don't think we can see those threads here, but there's 2 threads downloading 2 images, and you can see that it's fine, it's working. So this is gonna be, instead of being one on top of each other here, when we later do this, each one is gonna have its own progress bar, and it's gonna be downloading each one of those images, and it's gonna tell you when it's done for each one of those, or just mark it as downloaded, or apply it to the you can see this is wrong because the thread finished and closed, and the second file that was downloaded, it didn't finish. So we still don't have support to download it to files at the same time, but that's gonna be something that we're gonna do later. For now, if you download one file at a time, it just works, and it's pretty cool, right? Right. Okay, cool. Let's just go back here and remove that 8K version because I don't want to download 8K file right now. But cool. That's actually a good thing that happened, because I know that we can't download 2 files at the same time, because when this is finished, it's closing the thread and it's just letting the other guy die. We're gonna have to find a way to have a pool of threads and not intersect with each other. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. This is it for now. I hope you're enjoying this series. I really am enjoying this. I had to admit that this has been quite fun, and I'm doing a lot of things that I wanted to do before, and I'm doing it now, which is great. So let me know if you're enjoying this. Please comment on the video. If you want the code for this, I'll put it on Patreon, and we're gonna have every single piece of code that I have at the moment in one single repository. All right, that's it for today. Again, hope you enjoyed and learned something for today. I will see you in the next episode.